Welcome to another exciting episode of Table of Geequals. Spoiler alert, no bitching. I'm your host, returned from the wilds of Sudbury, Ontario, Alex. And to my left is a fill-in host for PigMonkey.
Gavin Carruthers.
Awesome. And this week joining us are...
Leanne Milo.
And...
Travers Milo.
Beautiful. Thanks for coming, guys.
Not a worry. Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome.
And so when I asked you guys earlier what geeky things had been going on in your lives, you had mentioned you had just come back from seeing
World's End, the latest Simon Pegg epic.
Awesome. And verdict?
Verdict, go see it. If you're a Hot Fuzz fan, if you're a Shaun of the Dead fan, or any of his other movies, yeah, go see it. Simon Pegg, enough said.
I've just been holding my breath, hoping for a boys movie because he's clearly the role he was meant to play.
Boy person movie. Absolutely.
No. We're talking about The Boys.
Oh,
Have you read The Boys?
no, I haven't actually.
You should take a look. There's a character that is modeled after Simon Pegg. So
Nice.
yeah, readers of The Boys are just kind of like hoping against hope.
Well, he keeps saying he's too old to play the role now.
Maybe
Well, who would play Butcher? I mean, really, I've been giving this a lot of thought.
Butcher.
Anyway, if you haven't read the series, it really is a wonderful read, and it's one of my top 5 series to read. It's over now,
is Crossed on that list as well.
No, I'm not proud of Crossed. I'm just committed at this point.
Something tells me Simon Pegg could give that a go even now after seeing him tonight.
Yeah,
Well,
he could give it a run
young
go.
and sprightly in this one.
Yeah. Oh, well, he sprightly, yes. Agile, yeah, not always, but yeah, he's got the energy there. He just doesn't quite have the balance or coordination at all times, but he's definitely got the desire.
So,
Excellent.
for those who have been living under a rock, can you give us a brief synopsis of The World's End?
World's End. Okay. Well, no spoilers. I've already been coached on that point.
Threatened. You've been threatened.
Well, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
if I spoil something for the audience, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if my guests spoil something for me, then we have a problem.
Well, he gets a bunch of his buddies back together to go on a pub crawl, and quite unexpected things happen.
Well, there's some sort of... all I will say is the previews make it look like robots of some kind are wreaking havoc in this community. That's what it appears to be in the previews. You can.
I'll go with your phrase "of some kind" now
Of
that
some
you've already
kind.
thrown it out there.
Okay, I like that.
I know the World's End is an actual bar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
much I do know.
they're going on like a pub crawl, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're trying to make, and the last one is
The World's End, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and they're going to get there come hell or high water, and there is a bit of high water and certainly dabs of hell here and there.
And knowing, as I have seen more than one film in my life, I would imagine the climax of the film takes place at the World's End.
Kind of.
Without going with
Kind of.
spoilers,
Kind
The
of.
World's End is the epicenter of the climax
Yeah,
of the film.
that's what I figured. Okay.
Yeah.
I was listening to an interview of Edgar Wright, and I think he and Gian kind of let some of the plot points go. But I'm excited to see it. It looks great,
yeah.
and if it's
Oh, yeah.
like you say, if you enjoy Hot Fuzz, if you enjoy Shaun of the Dead, which
Yep.
arguably one of the best zombie movies ever made.
Yeah, that same audience will certainly go for this one and then some.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Well,
So
I'm
some
stoked.
tongue-in-cheek humor and
But it's Simon Pegg.
it's
so-
yeah, it's what he does.
Yeah,
It's
it's
fantastic.
what he do. Yeah,
I
exactly.
look forward to seeing it at some point.
Exactly.
I'm really stoked to see Kick-Ass too.
Well, yeah, as am I.
I'm interested to see that.
Now, did you see Kick-Ass 1?
Oh yes, we have a copy.
Yeah.
We have our own copy. I quite liked it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was one of those things where the guy goes out and just like buys it, doesn't say anything, but then like you see it on the shelf one day and you're just like, we own this? Well, yeah, sweetheart, we've owned that for years.
Exactly.
I went
Don't
out to the desk to do some work there a couple weeks ago, and there was a copy of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I'm like, when the hell did we get this?
Sorry. I have a copy as well. It was on sale, which is pretty much my default position with the. When did we get a copy? It was on sale.
Yep.
Well, I'm just happy my wife doesn't play video games, so I can just, like, with video games, I just slide them into the drawer and, yep, that's it.
Yeah. Rewind a bit there. I have seen some previews for Kick-Ass 2. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the lead actor's name, but I saw some making of and seen some promos and things like that. And lead characters, like, unless a lot of CGI was involved, he looks a lot more buffed up for this one.
I think that would be a requirement if you want to stick anywhere close to the storyline.
What is it? Aaron something?
Yeah, Aaron.
Yeah.
He was up for the role of Quicksilver, and
yeah, but he was in another movie relatively recently. It was like he was a half of a duo that were growing really potent marijuana in this film. And even in that, like, this is a year and a half or 2 years ago that this came out, he was pretty buff. And, you know, seeing as I remember him most from playing this kind of scrawny kid in Kick-Ass.
Yep.
And
can't
think of anything else.
Chloe Grace Moretz looks to be about the same, of course, as Hit Girl.
Aaron Taylor
Johnson.
Thank you, Derek.
Appreciate it. And I guess they're going to have Nick Cage come back in as like flashback sequences or even as a ghost character. He was pretty
authoritatively dead by the end of the first movie.
Oh, yeah. That's what I love the most about this series, like the Kick-Ass series. I mean, even if you don't like Mark Millar's writing style, which or if you don't like John Romita Jr.'s art, which I've heard complaints on both, I do like the fact that he is trying to write it as like a realistic story, and I guess recently or more grounded in realism than Spider-Man, let's say.
After having seen Kick-Ass and not, of course, not seen the second one yet that it had elements, of course, you know, of the ridiculous and stuff like that, but
like a
lot
jetpack with Gatling guns,
exactly.
Yeah, okay,
but
not
a lot of
in
it,
the comic book.
Oh, I know.
But a lot of it did seem like, you know, more grounded in realism. I guess it's because they had elements of like a mafia family or something like that with the bad guys. But it did seem kind of, you know, for all the Nick Cage and ridiculous gadgets and things like that, it did seem rather, you know, pretty close to home, quote unquote, in terms of how realistic it could be.
I liked what I saw a quote of Mark Millar, and he said he told that the Universal people, the people who are making these movies, you know, Kick-Ass 3, the third installment in this series, is going to be the last one. And they're like, well, what do you mean? Is everybody going to die? And he says, there's a good possibility. I mean, look at what's going on. This is not a world where people have, you know, invulnerabilities to bullets. If you're not wearing a bulletproof vest, or if you get shot in the face, or your head bashed in, you die.
Yeah.
And I mean, some pretty brutal stuff happened in Kick-Ass 2, the book, that most of which apparently has made the transfer onto screen, and
really
most of which, there's one thing that didn't happen that it raises some interesting questions, but we can talk about it once we've seen it, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. And we will, I'm sure.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I almost following that in a way, I guess. I've been interested in Jim Carrey's post-production stand on how much violence there is in the second one, him making a public statement on that, and then Chloe Grace Moretz kind of following up saying, everybody, go, come on, get a gear. It is fiction. It is, you know, not real.
Yeah. What I raise issue with is the fact that he didn't have a problem being paid to make this movie, and then you know,
it makes his statements after he gets his paycheck.
There's hundreds of gun murders every day in the States, and he's gonna make an issue. Like, yes, don't get me wrong, Sandy Hook was horrible.
True.
Like, the most horrible thing that I, not...
Right up
anyway,
there with Columbine.
It's terrible. Terrible stuff.
Yeah.
But to then turn around and say, like, after that, to turn around and say, no, I can't be in... I have to distance myself with this. Like, you were still in the movie, man. And...
picked up your paycheck and...
Yeah.
But I think him bringing it up is why we're talking about it. So,
Certainly.
I mean, that's got to be of some value, right?
I just want to chip something in here real quick. I'm stealing your mic. He said that he didn't want to be involved in the junkets and the promos. He said, go check out the movie. It's still a great movie, don't get me wrong. He says, I've just changed my stance, so I don't want to be involved with the promo process. Which, sure, maybe that seems weird, but he's, 45, 46 now? He has kids.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me. If I were in the position where, like, one morning I woke up and I was like, you know what? I don't want to support the thing that I did. I'll let it go. I'll let it come out, and it's still a good movie. I guarantee it's going to... He even said that. He said, I'm not saying don't go see it. He's saying I can't go and be the person that is promoting it on all these junkets saying, like, go check out my movie now. He says, I've had a change of heart since then. And there's, quite frankly, better people to put out to go and promote the movie anyways. Jim Carrey would be huge, but he's not the main character by any means.
No, certainly not.
So the fact that he's not saying, like, don't go see the movie. If he did that, I'd be like, fuck you, man. Like, you
No, that is
recorded it.
true. That is true.
It's
You're
just the promotional process he doesn't like.
And for the record, he's 53.
53?
No.
Dude.
Wait a minute.
He's a fucking...
Check your math on that one.
He's 8 years older than I am. So 51. Sorry, 51.
Feel like I'm in a landmine right now. Okay. But
No, that's true. Aaron and Chloe, respectively, obviously they're the like first right underneath the title creds as far as the top name stars to promo or describe or go on shows or whatever to hype the movie. That's true.
I've enjoyed both their work, and I'm looking forward to Kick-Ass 2, and I'm looking forward to Kick-Ass 3.
Is there any point where hearing Hit Girl call people cunts, is there any point where that won't be fun?
No.
Derek says no.
I think once she gets old enough that it's not cute anymore, maybe.
Has she crossed that threshold?
She's getting
Well,
close.
she's what, 16 now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Now
actress?
it's just kind of like I've seen people her age,
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That
Say
age,
worse things, so.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Going back to
maybe by the third one it'll get.
Well, if they are going to make a third movie with her,
so maybe
she's
by
getting
that
kind of
third
old.
one, if her character hasn't, I don't know what the word I want, evolved, by the third one, if your character is basically a carbon copy of her in Kick-Ass 1, then people are going to say, come on, obviously the character would have progressed, But I think at this point,
Well, it's kind of taking a point on the real life superhero culture that we've been seeing around, which most of the people that are doing it are doing really interesting, fun stuff and cool. But actually attacking criminals, that's getting into some dangerous territory there.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the real world, you either die.
Well, that Phoenix guy's been going for quite a while, and he hasn't died.
Well, you either die, get the crap beaten out of you, or eventually get arrested for vigilantism.
or a combination even.
Yeah. Get arrested and then get the crap beaten
Get
out
arrested after you get to the hospital.
Does Halifax have any superheroes?
Fat Apollo.
The members of the MHA.
I heard the air quotes when you said that, and so did he. So
No, but like people who
I haven't seen anybody, but I'm sure the Metro would have picked it up by now, or the Coast.
Well, probably.
This is your chance, Alex.
there you
Go
go.
for it, man.
There you
I'll
go.
be your sidekick.
Really, you'd be my sidekick?
Yeah, I'll carry
What
your
would your
fucking
name be?
gadgets.
Mild-mannered comic store employee.
I'll think about that. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Actually, working for a
I
place
call
called-
Alfred Q.
working for a place like Quantum Frontier almost might
He
lend
doesn't work
itself
there
to.
anymore.
No, that's actually an interesting segue. I don't work at Quantum Frontier anymore. Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up, man.
Way to dig the dagger in.
No, I know it's fine.
Moving on to bigger and
it's-
brighter, right?
it's just it was time for me to move on, and Pat's happy, I'm happy, and
Well, it's
I miss being there. I mean, a lot of my regulars were sad to see me go, and I'm hoping that they're carrying on well without me. But actually, now I just started at TELUS this week as a trainer. So if
Very cool.
you're ever wondering about how to use that pesky new iPhone 482 SG37,
we were looking at some kind
yeah,
of phone for me.
then
When we
by
get
all
busy.
means set up a.
Now we know who to go to.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's a fun gig. You get to play with the newest technology, keep yourself up to date on that stuff, and anyway, so I'm excited, but that doesn't mean that I'm not surrounding myself with geeky stuff all the time. Gavin, anything new and excitingly geeky in your life?
Not particularly. Just got Last of Us, so I'm looking forward to giving that a whack.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the loan, by the way.
Get on with it. I want to play it again.
Okay.
Faster. Play faster.
Other than that, it's just been the usual mix of comic books and board games,
Awesome.
which are all good fun. Yourself?
I just finished a really fun book, actually. It was recommended to me by a friend of mine. It's called TikTok. It's by John Sladek, and it follows the misadventures of a robot whose Asimov circuits are defective. So the Asimov circuits are the circuits that tell the robot, like, you cannot harm a human, you cannot
Allow a human to be harmed
yes.
through your
Free
inactions.
laws.
it's Asimov's laws.
Yeah.
And it's told in a memoir style, and you find out at the beginning of the book he's already been caught, and he's awaiting being dismantled and killed. But he then tells the story of his life through a series of flashbacks as well as some linear storytelling. But it all starts one day standing in the living room, or the dining room of his masters. He sees a neighborhood blind girl, like a little blind girl, playing underneath a tree in the yard down the street, and he murders her and slaughters her and decides to cover up the blood from the murder that got on the wall with a beautiful mural. And that sets off a whole chain of events. Like, he's a robot that painted a mural. And so, of course, nobody suspects a robot because they can't harm humans. So it sets off a really interesting series of events, and
That does sound pretty good.
it's one of the best books I've read in recent memory. So while I finished it while I was in Sudbury, so while I was there, I picked up another one of his books called Mechasm, I think it was called. So I'm hoping it's going to be just as good. But it's definitely a solid read. It's kind of hard to find around here, but definitely pick it up, or if you're interested at all.
I've always assumed all technology is one automatic update away from killing me. So
Well, that's the thing. There's a really interesting
The
line in the
Skynet
book.
idea. We're reaching ever closer.
yeah, well, totally. I mean, somebody created an internet for robots a couple of weeks ago, and I'm pretty sure that's how it starts.
Yeah, they start talking.
Yeah.
No, they just jerk off a lot. They're just robots browsing porn and masturbating. That's what I use it for. Alright.
Well, I guess when the
Remind me never to sit
singularity
near,
comes, the
sit
internet's
near
going to get a
computer
lot
chair.
dirtier.
Yeah.
There's a really interesting line in the book, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm going to brutalize it, but it's basically, he talks about how, are there any actual laws governing robots? If humans are governed by these moral laws that they have ingrained in them, and a robot is produced to have these laws within them, fine. But if I don't have that law within me, have I then therefore broken any laws? So, I don't know. It raises some interesting questions. But anyway, regardless, great book. If you can find a copy, it's called TikTok. Check it out.
Well, while we're on the topic of novels and books and all that, in the Week of Geek, rather famous author died quite recently.
That's right. The Elmore Leonard. Elmore Leonard dead at 87.
One of my favorite crime novelists. He wrote some great stuff. And some of it was turned into some pretty good movies.
Yeah, Get Shorty, Be Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he
Couple of others.
that the TV series Justified was based on his
Yes.
his book.
Which is a very fun series to me. I really enjoy it. But one of his novels hasn't turned into a movie or anything yet. Road Dogs is well worth a read.
Yeah, he died from complications of a stroke. So
Well, he must have been in his 80s.
87.
Yeah.
87.
Yeah.
Again, kind of going on the writer kick. The Halo writer has joined Amazon as the director of narrative design at Amazon Game Studios. So that's Eric Nyland. I guess he's been writing for Microsoft for 13 years and heavily involved in their Halo franchise. I guess Amazon's going to be putting out their own Android-based console sometime before Christmas, which I still haven't gotten my Ouya, so I kind of don't really give a shit about Android consoles right now. I'm a little bitter toward Android consoles, even though Ouya has nothing to do with Amazon. It's just kind of, I don't know, soured me toward the whole
We'll
thing.
see how it spins out, because it might be a great platform.
It could be. The more I've been thinking about it, though, it's like there's only so much you can do with these operating systems.
It's true.
Does it really lend itself to sitting down and playing a game on a TV?
Well,
I don't know.
take public transport anywhere in the city, and everyone's with their head over their phone.
Yeah, that's true. But
enough.
if you're at home and you have the choice to play Angry Birds on a big screen or The Last of Us.
Well, I literally have thousands of dollars of entertainment equipment.
Yeah.
And I'll often find myself wasting hours on like armor games.
Huh.
Like little stupid flash games.
Yeah, I've
where
done
you're
the same
defending
thing,
your thing from a
actually.
zombie or whatever.
It is kind of ridiculous the way it just sucks you
Yeah.
right in. But anyway, so a little bit of news there, I guess, with Amazon really trying to get in on the console market. Apparently everybody's trying to get on the console market.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to break the big two, and right now Microsoft's a little vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, I hold out hope for Nintendo.
I think Nintendo's found a really fun niche that they're going to stick with, because
Well, yeah, they're not.
why would you screw that up?
Yeah.
Do what they do really well, even if it's not as encompassing as.
Why be all that encompassing? They've got their target family friendly, and they're having at it, and they're doing a great job. I'll pick up my Wii long before I pick up a Kinect.
Are you two big video game players? No.
Me, not so much.
Nah, my most challenging video game is Mario Brothers.
It was a pretty challenging game.
That is like, I would argue it's more challenging than most of the games being put out right now.
It's true. They've given up on the whole, lives concept in most games these days.
But yeah, I mean, you die and then you reload at your latest
Yeah.
save point.
Takes
You
all the
died in-
Reload.
Like you die in World 8 of Mario. No.
You actually
Just go
listened
back.
to your
Yeah.
parents. You went outside.
Yeah. Only because you were about to throw the remote through the TV.
Yeah.
On the same topic of games, I know you guys didn't see it, but there was a Grand Theft Auto Online trailer released this week, and oh man, it looks fun.
Well, I do enjoy GTA, but online play is not something I generally get that involved in. I usually play video games when I'm not social.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, listening to some 13-year-old having run me over repeatedly, then tell me about my mother, doesn't exactly
Takes
strike me
away
as
a
the
bit.
kind of thing.
It's I totally agree with you.
I figure if somebody kills you 5 times in a row, their home address should show up in your browser.
Ooh, there you go. Makes it a
That
little
would
bit
make
personal.
things really interesting.
Briefly.
Especially with a game like Grand Theft Auto.
GPS tracking. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
comes
I don't know. The concept is neat. You can form little gangs and go out and try to rob banks and stuff like that. And I like the idea of it, but like you say, I play games when I'm feeling antisocial,
Yeah.
and also I don't feel like I could commit the time required to rob a virtual bank. If I was going to commit that time, I feel like I might as well just actually rob a bank.
There you go.
I mean, time
But-
being what it is.
The living world concept through the GTA games, where things are constantly rolling and happening. If they can do that on a online game platform, it leads to some really interesting repercussions for other games.
Well, and they're loading it up with different styles of games within it. Like you can do the traditional deathmatch stuff that you'd find in Call of Duty and those types of games.
But with cars.
Yep.
Oh my god, it's Auto Duel. I'm back in.
You can do racing. You can just bomb around and like parachute off stuff. You can, like I said, plan robberies. You can take the money that you've gained from these robberies and buy apartments or garages and vehicles to put in these buildings.
So like a really violent Second Life.
Yes. Which raises the question, like, are they going to make it so that you can steal from other players? Part of me said, but you know what? Because I'm not going to be playing it, I say yes, they should. Because
Well, only if they allow me to lay booby traps for the people coming to steal my crap.
There you go. You should be
yeah,
well, if
Grand
you're
Theft
gonna
Auto
have the
Home
option
Alone
of stealing
edition.
from others, you got to have the option of defending against having others
well,
steal
yeah.
from.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that would be amazing. Like, if you're going to do it, just go all out. And they should allow people to join the police force and become crooked cops.
Or not.
Or not.
Or just regular
or,
cops.
yeah, there you go. Don't totally twist things around.
Why would you join a game like Grand Theft Auto and become a regular cop? You're gonna try to book
to
somebody
really-
who's running around with a
Well-
flamethrower.
The vigilante missions are the most fun I have in that game.
There you go.
And if I could do that without the cops chasing me the entire time, woo!
I say be a crooked cop, because then it's just like you see a perp and you just shoot him in the head and walk away.
Well, no, I did like Bad Lieutenant.
So just, I don't know.
But if
I
anybody
like
from
the
Steve
idea.
Jackson Games is listening, an auto duel game would be fantastic. You own the rights, just saying.
I don't know. I'm really excited for it. I guess it kind of snuck up on me. Saints Row the 4th
Yes, with
came out
aliens.
yesterday. Sorry?
With aliens this time.
Oh yeah, no, the storyline is great. Your character is the president, I believe, and you get kidnapped by aliens and plugged into this virtual reality world, and then you basically have so it's you're being put into a virtual reality world within the virtual reality world.
Whoa, meta.
Yeah, and I don't know. I haven't seen any reviews for it yet. I'm actually going to look that up right now because I just thought about it. But it has a dubstep gun. The concept of this just makes me happy because to kill people with dubstep,
Fair. Can't say I'm a huge fan of that musical genre to start with.
I'm not. But the idea of killing someone with it, it warms the cockles of
Well,
my
it
heart.
sounds like somebody's already being killed. I mean, honestly, to me, most times it just sounds like Transformers masturbating.
Okay. Hashtag not unseeing that.
Yeah, sorry about that. And all of you out there.
Why did I get that image?
Bumblebee buzzing. No, yeah, okay. No, we were already gone too far.
What?
GameSpot gave it a 7.5.
7.5?
Well, they're not exactly the hardest markers on the board either, so
Oh.
unfortunate.
Don't tell me it's bad. That would actually kind of break my heart.
It only came out yesterday.
I'm checking Wikipedia right now.
Must confirm.
I'm sure this is exciting for our listeners.
He searches Wikipedia as we speak.
Saints Row 4 is an open world game that continues the story of the 3rd Street Saints by elevating their status to the highest level, the leaders of the free world. And I don't expect it to have a really high score because I don't think they changed enough from 3.
Okay.
But they didn't need to change much from 3. They could make 3 again, and I'd play it again.
Right?
Like 3 was new levels for 3. I'm in.
There better be a giant purple dildo.
I have a feeling they would
with.
get slaughtered if they left that dildo out. But well, one of my friends got it, and he says he played it for like a couple hours, and he's completely hooked into it. So
Awesome.
So that's a good sign. And it's Saints Row 4. You know, like they had to do something to one-up it from the last one. Put some fucking aliens in. Give them some laser blasters, man. I heard you talking about Saints Row. I had to join again. Sorry.
No, it's all good. That's all very coherent points.
Jump in, yeah.
It's got a dubstep gun, damn it.
Wouldn't that be fun?
And now you can't say dubstep without blushing.
I just want a dubstep gun. Is that so bad? Well, the reviews aren't terrible. I've seen worse games. A lot of the Week in Geek this week is game related, actually. I mean, we've got this. We've got the Amazon game system getting the new writer. There's a new screenwriter assigned to rewrite the Assassin's Creed film.
How many screenwriters has this been so far?
Enough.
Yeah.
It's like you throw enough monkeys in a room with enough typewriters.
Well,
you're gonna
for a
get...
while, Richard Morgan was attached to that project, and
Was he?
he's one of my absolute favorite authors. So I was stuck because Assassin's Creed is kind of a thin concept and historically not even remotely accurate, to the point where I'm like, that's not what the word assassin... Never mind, it's a game.
No, but I mean, there are tons of movies that aren't historical.
Well, yeah, but this is...
I'm looking at you, Mel Gibson's The Patriot.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. But like I say, Richard Morgan, I don't know if you've read any of his stuff,
No, I
but
haven't.
Altered Carbon, Woken Furies, Broken Angels was a series he did that was just all worth reading. But check out, if you can find a copy, Market Forces. Probably the best cyberpunk corporate culture piece since RoboCop 2.
So we've had a bit of a revolving door on contributing writers to making the screenplay in the movie, right?
Right.
So what does this do with next year, 15?
It doesn't matter. And the more writers, so many cooks ruins the broth, right? And generally when they bring in this many extra writers, something has gone horribly wrong with their story.
Wow.
Well, I mean, a video game... I mean, the newest writer, Scott Frank, whose latest work was on The Wolverine. I mean, he kind of puts it well. Adapting a video game, quote, has its own set of challenges, end quote.
Doesn't slow Uwe Boll down any.
He's not exactly going for quality.
Or having anything to do with the video game.
No. And I mean, I think that, in my opinion, if I really loved a game, like if they were to make a movie out of Mass Effect, I would probably be almost disappointed because it's such a scope, like a huge game property. Like there's so much in it. What are you going to put in? I mean, each game is like 40 on the lower end of the spectrum. It's like 30-40 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, easily.
What are you going to make this movie about?
Right.
What aspect of this game are you going to throw into the movie? So plus beside that, you've got the whole point that a game is supposed to be driven by the player. That's why Doom, well, okay, that's not the only reason why Doom was so terrible, but there's many reasons why Doom was terrible, one of which is the fact that Doom is fun because you're walking around blowing stuff up.
It was a pretty bare bones concept.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like an Assassin's Creed movie, it's one of those things where maybe take concepts from here and there and just say, hey, so we have a story about a guy who gets sent into the memories of his ancestors, and
Which I thought was a great mechanic for actually explaining why you've got a heads-up display.
yeah. And it was really cool. Like you, instead of the invisible border that you have in video games, these memories aren't loaded yet. Like, I
Right.
think that's just a great way around the whole invisible barrier thing for video games.
I was watching, give a little plug for Friends in Space, just a little while ago, a made-for-TV anime movie with Halo that really centered on the Master Chief character, and actually very little else. Of course, I'm trying to remember the title, but it was just it almost seemed like 3 or 4 chapters out of a book. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah,
like it
the
started
scene-
off just right in the middle of something and ended not quite in the middle of something else that the character was dealing with or trying to get past. But it just seemed like, okay, this whole thing is like part one of X, but that reminded me of what you were saying just now. If you write about Assassin's Creed, what do you put in? Because what are you going to leave out? Well, you can't leave out X, Y, and Z, or people will
Without
just go,
cheesing
"Ah!"
off the fans, but if you make it too complicated, you're
Yeah,
going to lose
you
anybody
have
else.
this
Yeah.
ongoing saga that'll take you 30 years to tell.
And that's the main problem with video games and turning them into movies. I mean, you've got one that's made into like a little mini
one?
vignette.
Forward on to
Yes,
Dawn.
Forward on to Dawn. Thank you, Leanne. With her tech by her side. Yes, it was Forward on to Dawn, and I saw it just a little while ago. She brought it up on her Netflix menu. Yay, Netflix.
So like, you've got these nice little vignettes that you saw, and like that.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
That's
That's
awesome.
that's what it
because
sounds like.
it's
Yeah.
a smaller scale project, not costing like an Assassin's Creed movie would be like a full film for Assassin's Creed, like 30, 40, 50 million dollars. I don't know. I'm throwing around numbers here, but they're expecting a pretty good return. So, how are you going to make that appealing to?
Let's say, how are you going to make it more successful than Hitman?
Yeah,
Because that's got a ton of games. It's well
Yeah.
popular as
Yeah.
a franchise,
Yeah.
but that movie tanked.
yeah. I don't know.
Which I didn't mind Hitman. It was a good enough watch.
I really like Timothy Oliphant in
Yes,
anything
I
he
do
does. I thought he would have been an amazing Rick Grimes in the Walking Dead series, but anyway.
They had that great line that somebody had written, is Oliphant getting typecast? And one of his friends is, as a badass? I don't see this as a problem.
I mean, he's great in Justified.
He really is.
And one of my favorite movies that has him in it, and it's like one of those guilty pleasure movies, The Girl Next Door. It has Emile Hirsch and Alicia Cuthbert, some other random people, and he plays this really skeezy porn producer. Anyway, it's but anything I see Timothy Oliphant in, I have to, or anything that he's in, I have to see. I don't know, something about him. Just I really like him as an actor. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Ever since Deadwood.
yeah. But so yeah, Assassin's Creed. Will it be a good movie? Who knows?
I hope.
I hope they fail.
That's harsh, dude.
I'm harsh. Going on to other video game news. God, this whole thing is video games. It's crazy. Why female soldiers are now in Call of Duty.
More female gamers?
It's possible.
Audience.
They're saying that it has to do with the fact that the new tech and the new engine that they're working with allows for customization of your characters, as well as making female soldiers a part of that. Derek?
Yes.
I heard whispers at some point while I was away that people were upset or something. Did you hear anything about this?
Call of Duty of having female.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Okay. Or like controversy for Call of Duty female soldiers. I just remember hearing something about some sort of controversy, so I don't know if maybe I just imagined it.
Well, if they're all going to look like G.I. Joe Barbie, there's going to be controversy.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, how much differential could you make with your male soldiers? Like,
Well, one of the things
like
they're
this
saying
is new. They're going to be able to change your icon, right?
Yeah.
Your avatar.
One of the things they're saying is they're gonna make it so that the female soldiers and the male soldiers there really isn't any difference in body type. Like there's not gonna be a difference in size.
They're just going to stat out the same?
Pretty much, because they don't want there to be any advantage or disadvantage to taking one over the other, which I don't know if I agree with. I mean, What? No, I'm not saying like that, Derek.
Well, it sounded like you were saying it like that.
I'm reading something different. I'm looking for a result
Please take my mic.
for looking for some sort of controversy. And one of the titles was Call of Duty adds women and dogs to the newest version. I'm like, oh, that's very nice of you. It's like, well, we had men before. This time we're adding women and dogs.
No,
It's like, Jesus
no one will
Christ.
see any problem with that.
Yeah,
Dogs playable?
they're on your team. I think they like sniff out bombs and grenades and shit. I'm looking through a bunch of new stuff, and it all seems pretty positive stuff.
Okay.
Everyone's excited.
I don't know. I thought I had heard something somewhere about some sort. Now I'm starting rumors of controversy.
Stir in the pot.
My
How it
job.
goes.
But I think that it would make sense to have even customization so you can make smaller male characters, like make it within like acceptable military guidelines.
Like the Special Forces tunnel rats that were all 5 foot
sure.
tall and under.
Why not? It adds an advantage, but it also adds disadvantage. Make it so that like you can't carry a heavy weapon. You have to rely on smaller weapons.
And the big guy goes a little slower.
Or with a bigger guy, maybe he has a longer leg span. I don't know how to program video games, so I don't know what the possibilities are for this tech engine. But why not make it so that maybe if you play one of these female soldiers, your character can run a little bit faster, like you're a little more agile, but maybe your character can't carry as much in terms of weapon loadout. I don't know.
I think it's starting to get into slippery slope territory, skinny end of the wedge. And I think probably for now playing it safer until you can properly stat out your characters would make sense.
And in trying to get at least that initial reaction from your gaming audience, male, female, whoever it is, to see their reaction and what they're thinking, their preferences in playing.
Call of Duty's audience is thinking racial epithet, calling you gay, fag, and your mother's a whore. That's what they're thinking.
So
no difference than any other day.
yeah,
But yeah, so that's it for video game news. You guys had seen this on Space, right? This new J.J. Abrams.
Yes, last night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why don't you describe it for our listening audience?
Basically, black and white. You see somebody staggering out of...
So I just want to make it clear, this is a J.J. Abrams trailer.
This is a trailer. I think they called it Stranger or something, but I'm not sure if that was the title.
Yes. Because I caught just the last bit of it.
Yeah. Basically, there's a person, stumbling out of what's it's a body of water, whether it's a lake, an ocean, who knows. Stumbling forward, and then it kind of goes on like that for a couple seconds, fades a little to black, and then you see a face with sewn up lips, and that's it.
With this little voiceover.
Yeah, there's a voiceover saying life starts in the ocean, life goes back to the ocean.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Pretty much.
Very, very vague.
Yeah.
Very vague.
sounds pretty metal.
After I saw it, I saw it on Reddit first, and a lot of people there were kind of doing the whole sleuthing thing that some of these people can do, and it seemed to be that this one person was saying that it looked like it was going to be based on a book of some sort. That seemed that might be coming out this fall, so. I don't know.
I know they have started doing like little movie trailers for upcoming books.
Yeah.
And
well, it could be one of those like cross media promotions,
which would make sense.
Yeah, like a movie and a book and maybe like an alternate reality game. Like they have Defiance, where
Yes.
you have the TV show and the video game.
Which got a second season.
Yeah, I saw that. And so I don't know if it's some sort of I know that we'll find out more soon, but what was it AJ and Teddy said that
They were kind of aiming towards it being possibly the Star Wars trailer. How it could be the new Star Wars villain, and how all the talk about Ewan McGregor and the Palpatine ghost and the Jedi ghosts coming back are all just things to throw you off. That was how, that's what they were going on about. But you never know.
Well, if they'd gone that far into throwing us off, why would they release any trailer at this point? I mean, it's still very early days.
Extremely.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Star Wars wouldn't even need to release a trailer.
True.
It's so big. It could just their trailer could just be June 24th, 2015.
Be there.
Yep.
Say the title of the they wouldn't even need to say the title of the movie.
Yeah.
June 24th, 2015.
Just
Star
a
Wars.
Little
Yep.
loop
J.J.
of the.
Abrams just walks by and farts. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, he did make a pretty fun Trek franchise, and we enjoyed some of his other stuff. So what the heck?
I'll argue that.
You didn't like the?
No, it's fine. It's Trek-ish. It's Trek light.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a phrase I haven't heard for it yet. Trek Light.
Well, you guys are pretty big Trek fans, right?
Yeah, that's what got me sucked into the geek nerd universe, or whatever you want to call it.
That was your gateway drug.
Yeah, it was my gateway. Yeah.
Did you see the new Trek miniatures game that came out today?
No, I haven't.
I think it's by Cryptozoic. It's what's it called? Fleet Battles.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, the ships look really nice.
Yeah, beautiful sculpts.
But I'll bet you it's as expensive as the Fantasy Flight.
Well, they already got a ton and a half of money out of me for Starfleet Battles. I'm
Well, there you
done.
go.
Really?
Well, of course I'm going to get it eventually, but
Yeah, you are.
I'm still in denial.
Anyway,
Speaking
let's-
of miniature games, is it Pacific Rim? The Hero Clicks for it.
Oh yeah,
Those look good, man.
I haven't seen any of them.
Well, be honest, we still have to get out to see that movie.
Yes, we haven't seen the
We've
movie
been
yet.
seeing others these days being busy, but we have to get out to see that one.
I'm glad
It's
not
worth
the
a
one.
Elysium was also on our menu. Well, my menu.
Wasn't as good as District 9, but it was still a very solid movie.
Because I did see District 9 and rather liked it.
I didn't expect to love District 9 as much as I did.
Yeah.
So I
Nobody
think I
did.
may have gone into Elysium with kind of massively
Oh,
raised expectations. So maybe I'm being unfair to it. Because it was certainly a great movie. And I will certainly buy the Blu-ray combo pack thingamabobber.
That was the great thing about District 9, though. Nobody was expecting it to be an amazing film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, everybody went to see it out of this weird curiosity. And
kind of a sleeper hit or whatever you
yeah,
want to say.
totally.
and then anytime anybody saw it, they were just, like, blown away. Because the special effects were amazing.
They were.
For this little South African film.
Yeah, and well, yeah, the special effects were you could tell the effort and the money and whatever was put into them, but they weren't. I'm going to use the word overdone, if you know what I mean. They weren't
They
so
weren't-
over the top
yeah.
that it's just like, oh, come on.
Well, there was that one scene with the exoskeleton where he
Well-
dives out and smashes the missile.
Yeah,
That was just awesome.
I'm not denying it was awesome, but it was almost out of sync with the rest of the effects in the movie. Still thoroughly
well,
great.
but the trailers I've seen for Elysium with Matt Damon and the space station they use and things like that, I'm definitely interested in seeing that one.
Well worth seeing.
Derek, is Pacific Rim still in theaters?
I will check.
Thank you.
I think it is.
I haven't seen it yet either, and I was thinking about that the other day, and I figured I'd probably missed its theatrical run. But
No, I think it just came out pretty recently.
Last month.
No, last one.
yeah, it's been summer just flew by.
Yeah,
But
tell me about it.
it's so many nerdy movies to see, and
Yeah.
it's so expensive to go and see movies. So
All season.
I've missed a lot. Like I don't know if Derek remembers, but I came to one of the first meetings of this podcast with a huge list of movies I wanted to see this summer.
I don't know that. Yeah.
Have you made it to any of them?
Bucket list.
Like 3.
Well, that's not bad.
Movies are expensive
They are.
and time, man.
I do
have
want to
no
see
idea
PR
what
just
happened.
to see Robert Rye enjoy a bit more screen time than some of the movies he's been in over the last little while.
It's true.
So
Speaking of Robert,
Pacific Rim isn't in theaters anymore.
no, it's not.
Oh,
I missed it.
Really?
It's in the Westfield Drive-In. If you want to go there, but that's it.
That's right. Remember I said.
Double feature.
Remember I
Yeah,
said if we
they-
had time this weekend, it's too bad we could drive down and see it because it's Elysium and
Yeah, the two
Pacific
together.
Rim,
which
Where
would
is
be an
that?
awesome double bill.
Westville, down the valley,
Huh.
and we don't have time.
Saturday night plans.
No,
maybe.
we're doing stuff for Halcon.
Speaking of Halcon,
Uh huh.
Robert Maillet is one of our confirmed guests
Oh, yeah?
recently. Yeah.
do you have any other confirmed guests you can tell us about?
Well, in fact, our media guru Joni has just released a little update for our Warp Speed Pass holders, which means the rest of the world will get to know and very, 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 very soon. But no spoilers. But some comic guests to
They're
pump
all
up
of them.
our.
All of them are comic guests,
Yep.
comic artists
That are
that were just announced today to the Warp Speed Pass holders.
Any writers?
No more authors yet.
how
I mean,
many
like
how many
comic
names
book
are we
writers.
talking?
Comic art. Oh, I'll be honest. That's not part of my geekdom, so I don't really know comic artists from writers, unfortunately. So what?
Scroll some of them there.
Let's see, artists.
Listeners should note
Yes.
that at this point it will have been released
By the time of this broadcast.
by the
yes.
time of this broadcast. It will have been released.
Yeah.
The names.
Some of our big ones are
So
Christopher.
don't worry, Jody. They wouldn't tell us.
No, Joni, we're being good. We promise.
She's short with red hair. You know,
He doesn't mess with
Careful.
the redheads.
careful.
Some of our big name comic artists that we have coming are Christopher Jones and Ty Templeton, who is drawn for Ultimate Spider-Man,
Amongst other things.
amongst other. Ian Boothby, Halifax's the Maritimes Nick Bradshaw. We have the Neon Cat creator, Cyanide and Happiness people. Lar D'Souza.
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 Mhm.
I'm awful at these pronunciations of these names, and that's just a couple.
We'll throw out the voice actor name Vic Mignogna.
Author Terry Brooks
Terry
and
Brooks,
Robert J.
yes,
Sawyer.
Yes. Thank you.
Jewel, darling Jewel.
Yep.
J. August Richards, who's going to be seen in the new show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which would have premiered by the time Halcon happens. The Fourth Doctor? Fifth Doctor? The Fifth Doctor, Peter Davidson?
Yep.
I don't know my doctors. I'm ashamed to say. And
You don't know your doctors.
I know,
We like
I
you on
know,
the show.
I know
She
9, 10, and
knows. There
11.
you
I
go.
know 9, 10,
How
and
can you come on
11.
the show and not know anything about Doctor Who?
Yeah.
I know 9, 10, and 11.
Doctor Whom is an institution.
Uh-huh.
and,
Who's Dr. 9?
whom?
Whom is Dr. 9?
Grammar.
I'm not.
police,
I'm not
come on.
answering your questions.
Uh-huh.
I'm not giving you any answers.
You know, anyone listening to this has probably heard earlier podcasts, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Just checking.
And the man himself, Billy D. Williams, will be joining us for Saturday and Sunday.
That's amazing.
Yes. So we finally have a Star Wars guest.
As well as Jewel State from Stargate SG-1 and Firefly. And professional cosplayer Yaya Han will be joining us as well. And if anybody out there has been watching Space recently, there's a series called Heroes of Cosplay on where she is judging people at Sci-Fi Con costume contests.
Well, that's just one. She's one of the quote-unquote stars of the reality show, and they shows a group of cosplayers going from con to con competing, and she's one of the judges in most of the contests. Well, it's only been 2 episodes, so
very much looking forward to having her here.
Crazy. Mm-hmm. Well, any other news you can give us for HalCon?
Well,
I don't want to get you in trouble with Joni, but
no.
No.
No, we wouldn't do that. The God Bless Them Trade Center has given us pretty much every square foot they can for this year. We're looking to bring in new and bigger and better things. Awesome costume contest again. Panels, exhibitors, vendors. One thing that I myself am gonna see if we can kickstart this year, because we're taking up all the inside space. We're gonna take things outside and actually have a pre-convention parade of our own for the first time this year. Saturday, November 2nd, HalCon's going to have its own, what we're going to call HalCon Halloween Parade. Like I say, Saturday, November 2nd. So right between Halloween and the convention itself.
Nice.
So we're going to invite all the cosplay groups and associations here in the area, and a few of the businesses and shops, and even some of the people who rule over us, some of the municipal councilors and things like that. We'll invite them out, and we're going to have Fat Apollo lead us off as the Grand Marshal this year. So
In a rickshaw.
in a rickshaw, no less.
Wait, is he pulling it or is he in it?
He's in it.
He's in it.
No. Have him pull it.
Make for
No, we
an
have
interesting visual.
we have a very pretty boy that's going to pull it.
Just one.
Just yeah.
See, I wasn't going to say that.
Automobile, maybe?
He's
Mike,
he's
Mike,
very
if you're
strong.
listening, please, no, you know me.
Hashtag visual.
That wasn't meant in any malicious sense.
No.
Plus, I'm one to talk. So, that's about it for this week. One thing I do want to say is I'm a little bitter. I'm angry.
Why are you bitter and angry?
Well, Andrew gets to go to Fan Expo.
Oh, right.
That's why he's not here.
Yes.
Right.
And I don't get to go to Fan Expo this year.
Maybe next year.
I went last year, but I want to go now.
Because they do have one heck of a lineup.
It's always such a blast. I mean, you end up needing like another vacation afterward, because it's a huge con. You're on your feet all day. There's no, even the areas inside the con for like resting, it's still stressful because there's just so much to see and do.
That's one we haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah, true enough.
It's like the big one for Canada.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is
80,000
the
people.
big one. But it's going to be
ridiculous.
many moons before I get to go, so.
It's Canada's San Diego.
Pretty much, yeah.
Are they doing Geeks versus Nerds there?
No, I don't think they're actually performing Geeks versus Nerds, but I believe it's part of like a fact-finding and publicity
Expedition.
mission.
Gotcha.
So, and hey, all joking aside, like that's awesome
Yeah.
that they're getting out there and getting the word out for Geeks versus Nerds.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
So, anything else to add, Gavin?
No, I'm good.
You're too laid back for a co-host.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'll be angrier.
That apologizing to me is
Well, one's got to be relaxed while the other one's wired. The yin, the yang.
fair enough. All right, guys, thanks for coming.
Welcome.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for having us.
All right, that was another fun-filled episode of Table of Geequals. I am